Hi, everybody, and away we go with another edition of the Pro Wrestling Plus show. It's great to have you aboard. This is a program in which, as you know, we take a little trip across the nation and around the world, and we find out what's really going on in the wacky world of wrestling. Are you ready for the trip? Okay, climb aboard. Here we go. I'll tell you our destinations. On this one, we're going to have a Mat Classic, doesn't go too far back, 1985, with Moose Sholak. We have a couple of title matches from POW. We have NWA action, AWA, we have Fan Forum, and a whole lot more on this edition of Pro Wrestling Plus. But right now, you know we usually travel back to the 50s, sometimes as late as the 60s for our Mat Classic, but this time, not far back in time. It's 1985, to be precise. Big Moose Sholak, one of the top wrestling names for decades now, is taking on Frankie Adonis. Now, this particular bout took place in the Premier Center in Detroit, Michigan, and that's where we're going now.
It comes by the Moose, and Frankie Adonis is going to take a break.
Adonis is smart in getting out of the ring. That's why it makes the Moose even better.
Adonis might be even smarter if he'd go back to the dressing room.
Well, that's true, but if he gets back in that ring, all he's doing by getting out of the ring is giving the Moose a few extra snort pulls of air, and that's when he's really mad.
You got Moose Sholak, certainly a guy who enjoys, absolutely loves the sport of professional wrestling, and of course, Jerry Graham and his stable of wrestlers have been a constant thorn in the side of Moose Sholak over the years. The latest and perhaps the most dangerous threat to Moose Sholak comes now from the 7'2" tall, 580-pound Kentucky Butcher.
Can you imagine if those two got in the ring together?
They'd have to reinforce the ring for one thing.
They'd have to put double the floor.
Frankie Adonis just had his head slammed into the turnbuckle by Moose Sholak. Coming up later on today, ladies and gentlemen, the World Heavyweight Champion, the Great Wojo, meets Chris Carter, a title match right here on television. You'll want to be here for that. The Russian Igor Zakov here to meet Rick Stemps and many other stars. At the moment, though, it's Frankie Adonis with the advantage on Moose Sholak. He stands back nicely. The Moose just taking things sort of easy here, making Adonis come to him. They lock up the massive arms of Moose Sholak with the referee hold on Adonis. Oh! Yeah, I heard that one. Yeah, I heard the pops from those. Moose Sholak. And that wasn't his full strength either by any means, as you could see.
You know, it's interesting, Terry. I told you before that Yukon Moose used to be a boxer in the Navy.
Oh! The El Squasho. That's got to be it. No way. Anybody.
He just beat Frankie Adonis.
Well, last week there was something that I'm sure is burned in your memories. It's in mine for sure. We witnessed Hector Guerrero spraying the wrong man with that devilish hair cream of his. He hit his own partner right in the face, and I shouldn't laugh about something like that, but it was poetic justice. That sent Dr. Diablo straight to hospital. Well, we promised you an update. We're going to get it right now, but in an unusual fashion. It's going to be disclosed during a match with Hector Guerrero and his new partner, Manny Fernandez. They take on Ed Maddox and Freezer Thompson.
Taking his little hair tonic and putting it on somebody's head and removing their hair, which, you know, it's very potent stuff. You know, remove hair, it had some kind of acid or something in it. I don't know what it had in it. I told him that it had no place in wrestling. We was out there to win, was out there to, you know, get the job done in the right way.
Competition?
Yeah, we wasn't out there to, you know, remove hair. That's a barber's job.
Right. But it was a situation that took place, and you had told me when we were talking before we did this interview that you had even told him, when you were telling him that it didn't have any place in wrestling, you had told him that it was a possibility that it got in someone's eye, it could blind them, and it ended up blinding you.
That's correct. I lost the right eye on account of this. I had no vision. Hector has not been around. He hadn't checked. He hadn't called. He don't care about nothing. All he wants is fun. All he wants is to be out with his friends. Well, I'll tell you what. I got a lot of you know, a lot of my family and everybody was aggravated that I teamed up with him because they know or had an idea what kind of person he was. I didn't listen, so I did, you know, I received this injury. And it's not a pretty injury, and it ain't nothing that is, you know, that you can throw off lightly. I haven't got no vision in this right eye. I'll never have no vision in this right eye. You know, it's just, you know, I just can't see out of it, and it's all on account of him.
It's a bad situation because now he's in a situation where he put you out of the way you made a living, and it's a bad situation, and we want to appreciate you coming by, or we appreciate you having us come by and talk to us. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you coming by and checking.
Thank you.
It's more than he done.
Well, there you heard it from Dr. D. Very serious with the eye problem, and right now in the ring, as you've been watching all the time, Hector Guerrero and Manny Fernandez just having fun as they've been inflicting the injury on Ed Mattis, and now the freezer, William Thompson, as Guerrero tags to Manny Fernandez, the Bull. No question about this guy's reputation and his record. He is something internationally. They know him everywhere. Look at this. Sailing off that top rope, down with a knee right down on top of the freezer. And he does a little hot dogging in the ring. Count of one, count of two. That's going to be it.
What a bizarre thing. Well, time now for the AWA. We're going to move over to AWA champion Curt Hennig as he faces a young man named Jim Evans. Now, Hennig proves why he is the AWA champion in this AWA non-title affair. You'll see what I mean. just Hennig showing his mean streak, but I suppose if you really evaluate it, that's probably why. In this instance, at least, he's the AWA World Champion. Time now for a commercial break, and after that, we'll be back with action from the Central States on Pro Wrestling Plus. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Plus. And it's time now to travel to the Danger Zone, courtesy of our U.S. friends who have that program called Pro Wrestling This Week. Paul E. Dangerously has two guests in the Danger Zone. They are Medusa Michelli and Nick Kiniski. And they're going to answer the question, is it strictly business?
So this week, I'm going to have on my friend Nick Kiniski and his beautiful manager, Medusa Michelli. And right here on the Danger Zone, guys, I have a question for the two of you. There's a lot of rumors going around in wrestling. There's a lot of people saying things. And what I got to know right now, is this a business, is this a personal, or a little bit of both kind of relationship?
Strictly business.
Strictly business? Strictly business. Well, there you go. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Paul E. Dangerously gets the...
Boys and girls, I got to tell you, I have a faint suspicion, maybe it's not so faint, that they are not telling the absolute truth. Oh, my. I hate to tell you that, but that's the truth. Okay, off to the Central States area now, where Bulldog Bob Brown goes up against the vitriolic television champion Rip Rogers. You're also going to see Miss Brenda, the Cuban Assassin, and finally the Rock and Roll Rebels get all tangled up in this affair.
Dangerous on the floor, but still he's taking a real beating from Rip Rogers during this match, having trouble getting back into the ring. Certainly anybody would, after the amount of violence that we've seen so far during this match. Rogers driving that boot into the side of Bulldog Bob Brown. Brenda Britton, of course, perennially at ringside, and something the Bulldog's got to keep on his mind. Brown comes out with a clothesline. And wait a minute. Bulldog Bob Brown getting in behind Rip Rogers, coming down with a sleeper hold. I don't think Rogers or Brown's got him right where he wants him. Hang on. Brenda Britton trying to interfere. Bob Brown's right after him. Britton in the ring, trying to, wait a minute. She's got that post.
in. 1, 2, 3, and a win for Hustler Rip Rogers. Look at this. Hustler Rip Rogers pinned in the middle of the ring. Rogers. Wait a minute. Rip Rogers, after being defeated, attacking Bob Brown from behind. From the dressing room comes the Cuban Assassin. The Assassin and Bob Brown trading blows in the middle of the ring. Hang on, Rogers has got that purse from Brenda Britton. I don't know whether he's going to use it or not. But he and the Cuban Assassin taking this opportunity to really work Bulldog Bob Brown over. Referees in there trying to break this up. The Cuban Assassin and Hustler Rip Rogers, a vicious attack on Bulldog Bob Brown. Wait a minute. From the back, the Rock and Roll Rebels are in the ring to clear the...
I neglected to tell you that action was from Kansas City. But now we move right along, and this time to the powerful women of wrestling, otherwise known as POW, or maybe having watched some of them, you say POW. Anyway, this is the Australian Tag Team Championship. We're going to give you lots of action right here. The Australian Tag Team Championship will pit Hot Rod Andy and Luna against the Bombshell Blondes, and then we'll see a singles title match following that. First, let's launch it with a Tag Team Championship.
Do it again.
Malibu coming in. Sets Hot Rod up.
They do some things I've never seen.
Powerful women of wrestling. Maybe remember the name. Oh, the hard way comes in.
The most powerful. Watch them, David. I thought they were going to throw it right on you.
Into the ropes goes Malibu. Oh, a little retaliation. Tag team belts on the line. Sunset flip. Malibu misses a sunset flip. I thought the Blonde could have had a victory there with that sunset flip. She just wasn't able to hook the leg.
Well, I think Malibu is too smart for it now. They did that to her about 6 months ago. She hasn't gotten over it.
Oh.
I think your blonde All-Americans are going to go in for a loss.
They're taking time on that for sure, but I tell you, I thought they had the victory there with the sunset flip.
This is going
Hot Rod Andy is really something, is she not? But you know, I think that's going to be quite a combination, a dynamite combination in the Women's Wrestling Association. Hot Rod Andy and Luna, the new tag team champions. Well, you know, Gorbachev and Reagan are trying to agree on world peace, if you will, in view of disarmament, etc. But in POW, the war goes on, and yes, it's between the United States and Russia. Sasha from Russia has been going after the title of Nina. This time, I wonder if she'll take it. Let's go have a look.
It's here. One of the big colleges. All she needs is that applause. She likes the fans' adoration. Some people thrive on that, baby.
Walking around the ring, gathering her composure.
forgot who did it. Wait a minute.
Well, I kind of think Nina will continue to pursue Sasha, and maybe we'll have a look at some upcoming battles between these two, because I'm sure the battles are going to take place. Last show, we talked to you, or Dr. Brian Plowman did, about the business of steroids for professional athletes, and we're going to continue that discussion right now, the dangers of steroids, and here's the good doctor.
Thanks, Ed. Back in Gold's Gym again. Again with Roberta Seeger, and again we're going to talk about steroids. Today we want to focus on the anabolic versus the androgenic type of steroid. Last week we'd opened up the can of worms and we came through with a whole list of side effects. But today I'd really like to hear the differences in the types of steroids that people are using, and using in large amounts.
What steroids are, Brian, is they're the synthetic derivative of the male hormone testosterone. And testosterone in men is the hormone that causes them to grow hair on their face and to have a deeper voice than females, and it causes them to be more aggressive than females tend to be. It is also the hormone that tends to build larger muscles than females tend to have. And with athletes striving to be bigger and stronger and faster, a lot of them are resorting to steroid use in hopes of speeding up their progress or surpassing what they may be able to accomplish otherwise.
But you told me that even where they use these, they sure don't avoid the hard work. It's still necessary to do all the lifting, all the pushing and everything that you would do under any other, without steroids.
Well, if a person were to take steroids without working hard, without eating right, they're risking their health, and they're not going to be accomplishing anything. They won't do a darn thing for them, at least positive. They'll still get all the side effects, though.
Yeah. Okay, so they're going to have to lift the weight. Now, which one are they going to use if they want to put the muscle mass on to be the...
Okay. Well, generally, without going into brand names, steroids tend to have two different qualities. There's the anabolic, which tends to increase muscle growth, muscle tissue growth. Right. And then there's the androgenic, which is the male characteristics, facial hair and whatnot. Generally, an athlete, a type of steroid that is more anabolic than androgenic is what an athlete would aim for. However, the ones that tend to be very androgenic also tend to be the ones that are most anabolic. So unfortunately, there's no real way that they can
get one without the other.
That's right. Yeah. And all steroids tend to have some of each of the qualities, which like these side effects, the androgenic ones, anyhow, are disastrous, especially for women.
Yes, yes. Now, of course, there's no way in the world that any professional athletic association condones the use of steroids. And today they're testing, and they're testing more and more in shows and so on, and they have horrendous tests, unreal tests. For example, some of the OCO tests, I understand, go up to 3,500 different substances.
Well, it is true that the athletes are using horrendous dosages. I'm not sure whether that's really necessary. A lot of them are taking more dosage-wise than what you would give an 1,800-pound horse. This is on the point of stupidity, but unfortunately athletes have this win-at-all-cost attitude. And while we can't really totally not forgive them for having this attitude, fortunately the testing is absolutely required, and more athletes are coming clean in the testing, which is an indication that we're managing to deal with this problem that modern science has created.
Right. And it is possible to build muscles without them. It just takes a little longer.
Absolutely. It just takes longer.
Yep. Well, I really appreciate that. That's a horrendous topic, a very important one. And again, you've covered it well, Roberta. Thanks a lot.
Nice talking to you.
We'll be back next week. That's it for today. Bye for now.
Thank you, Doctor, and I hope a lot of young athletes who might be dazzled by the opportunities for success and be inclined to use steroids might now know what the price could be. And it's a devil of a price. Okay, we're off to Portland, Oregon. Always get a kick out of Portland. Always great action. It's been building in this grudge match between Coco Samoa and Mean Mike Miller against the combination of Moondog Moretti and the Avalanche. This is the first time that Miller has appeared with his head shaved, and I wonder if he won't be a little sensitive. Okay, let's go to Portland for this one.
Back turning, you know, you can't see everything. I think we ought to return to the match for just a minute here, Mr. Assassin. There was a double switcheroo here while our backs were turned, while we were being captivated by the linguistic and the highly vernacular assassin. We better be paying attention to the ring. Coco Samoa is in there with Moondog Moretti. You know, Moondog Moretti's partner is the Avalanche. They have Coco Samoa in dire trouble. Coco's trying to get over to his partner, Mike Miller.
With Chris Cole at ringside, it's really 3 against 2.
Exactly. You know, it's always, whenever you got somebody like Chris Cole sitting there, you know that you got to keep an eye on that third person, man. And that's where it makes it tough, you understand? But Mike Miller and Coco Samoa are no pushovers, by no means, brother. And I'm sure they'll get it together, baby.
Well, there is certainly no love lost between any of these men, especially right now, the Avalanche, when you're looking at Mike Miller and Coco Samoa.
Hey, and Grappler, you said beat me if you can, baby. I'm coming after you tonight, Jack, and I'm going to put you away, baby.
I heard that match of yours is going to be on television. Is that right?
Right. It's going to be on television. Tom Peterson said, could you have this match on television, baby? And he's got it on television, you understand?
It's amazing. It's like old times, isn't it? It's good to have the assassin back. I understand you got a couple of surprises for some people in Coquille that you're not letting out of the bag.
That's right, Judge Savage. A lot of surprises in Coquille, you know, with that big candlestick match, with all the surprises that are going on in professional wrestling these days. Coquille, you bring everybody you can, baby, because there's going to be a lot of excitement there, Jack.
Don't give anybody the secret or anything. I don't want to hear about any more of it. You may give it out. I better not talk to you.
Wish I knew what they were talking about. We've got Coco Samoa and Moretti lying down on the floor after a head-on collision. Moretti makes the tag with Avalanche, and Coco trying to crawl over and make the tag with Miller, and Avalanche is all over him like an avalanche.
Hey, when you got a guy like the Avalanche, brother, who weighs 380, 400 pounds, whatever the big fat slob weighs, you know, he's no pushover by no means.
I think this part of the building moved. The camera's in comes Mike Miller. He gives a boot to Mike Miller. Moretti. Miller's working Moretti. There's a bell.
I think we have run out of time at our TV time limit. And these two teams have battled, and I mean battled, to a draw.
While they're still doing it in the ring, Assassin, we want to wish you all...
It's time now to take a commercial break, after which we will be back with more action from the Continental Wrestling area and with the ratings on Pro Wrestling Plus. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Plus. We're now going to travel to San Juan, Puerto Rico for a look at the Invaders. They take on Elgin Mendoza and the Crusher.
Crusher, alert move goes for the pinfall. The Invader gets thrown to the ropes. Sunset flip. He's hooking him. He's got him. 2 seconds. And right there came Mendoza to prevent the win of the Invader one. And now the Crusher wants to win. Here comes Mendoza. He dives to stop the Invader one. I tell you something, both teams have done some fantastic moves to try to obtain a victory. Very close match to call. It could go either way. Both teams in great physical condition. We recall that around 4 years ago, the Invader 2 and Invader 1 were the WWC World Tag Team Champions, so they have a lot of experience in tag team competition. Mendoza and the Crusher have been teaming up lately, but the experience is definitely on the side of the Invaders. Double knockout here as both bodies collide. And Mendoza pushing or pulling towards him. The Invader won. And the Crusher tags. And here comes Mendoza, but the tag was also made. The Invader too comes in. And he nails him. He's left-handed. Look out. High backstrap around 7 feet on midair. And here comes also the Crusher. And now the Invaders are on war with the Crusher and Mendoza. Let's see what happens here. Boom! Both bodies collide. Drop kicks. And the Crusher got hit solid with those drop kicks. And watch out. Look at this move here. Like a hip toss. And with this fantastic combination move, the Invaders have done...
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. The Invaders have really taken over the island. They are incredibly popular. I think you can understand why after that stunning match with the Crusher and Mendoza. What a job they did. What a job. Right now, Continental Championship Wrestling, okay? This is from Birmingham, Alabama. We're going to see an Alabama title match. Tom Pritchard as he takes on Johnny Rayner.
The Mongolian Stomper, 270 or 80 pounds. Big Bubba, 350. This Lord Humongous, 350 or 400 pounds. Everybody wants to know where's the beef. Well, it's in the continental area. That's where the beef is. And when this car goes on the line, the beef will be present.
Well, we can rest assured of that. All right. Irish whip now by Rayner. Charges to the corner, but Dr. Pound up to one side. Rayner's knees have turned to rubber, and he caught one on the side of the jaw.
Oh, did he ever catch him in the chops? That was a beautifully executed drop kick. You see it caught him right in the jaw, Gordon. You can see it right here on this camera here, right in the jaw.
All right. Got him in a half chancery now. Half a front chancery. And so Rayner, I don't know. Now Pritchard, Rayner's getting a chance here to get it back together again.
Yeah, but one thing about it, Gordon, you can see Tommy's got this front transfer, I'd say, and like I've talked to you many times, this cuts off the air supply. But Pritchard's got him in a pretty good shape. He's trying to get him in worse shape for the pin.
Off the rope, good shoulder smash by the good doctor. Good, up and over his man. Got him with a mule kick. Got him very nicely.
That's what I was talking about right there, Gordon, brother. He ain't going to get up from that, I guarantee.
He didn't get up, that's for sure. He did not get up. And so, the good doctor, Tom Pritchard, successfully defends his Alabama heavyweight championship.
There you have it for the Alabama state title. But in the continental area, there was other action. There were other titles up for grabs this past week as well. The Continental title for one, and we watched Dutch Mantell. The champion, he takes on the challenge of Kim Birchfield. And, well, let's see what happens.
Him in the stable, that's one of the biggest moments of my life, the time I was able to set that contract down and see Dutch Mantell write his name on it. I knew the stable was going places, and I knew that we were title-bound, baby, and that's what we wound up. We got so much brass inside of this. We got so much steel and brass and belt material inside of the stud stable, we don't know what to do with it, and it's partially because of that man that's got both the Continental and the Southeastern title. Nobody can beat him, Gordon.
Well, that's really an interesting observation. I would say that I'm not too terribly familiar with Mr. Birchfield's background. He's firing back, however. He staggered the champion. He staggered him again. He caught him again.
He's using his fist.
Well, I'll tell you what, Birchfield looked good for a moment there, but now Mantell has
I heard you
recovered.
out here earlier, Gordon, talking about what a fine man Tommy Pritchard was and putting up his title. Look at this man right here. Look at Dutch Mantell holding two titles. He put both of them up for this man. It's a Continental title match, but he said before the match, I'd be proud to put up both the Southeastern and the Continental because he's that kind of guy, Gordon. I love that man.
Looks to me like he got himself a 3 count. Got himself...
Time now for a look at the ratings, and this week we take a look at the UWF and the most hated. Got your bags ready to travel? Okay. Dallas, Texas. That's our destination right here, right now. In Dallas, it's action from the World Class Championship area. And give a listen to this. This is called a penalty box match. It sounds like a National Hockey League game, doesn't it? But it's a penalty box match. And let me explain. First of all, we're going to see Kevin Von Erich and Sean Simpson taking on Brian Adias and Thumper Lancaster. Now, here are the rules. If the referee deems that he can send one of these men to the penalty box, for the first infraction, it's 1 minute. For the second infraction, 2 minutes, and so on. Third infraction, 3 minutes, etc. Into the penalty box, the sin bin. That's where they go, supposedly out of action. So Kerry Von Erich is at ringside with the others. And watch what happens in this one. Mamma mia, absolute mayhem breaking out there. Hard to believe your eyes sometimes, isn't it? But you saw it. And we're going to be seeing more very shortly, but right now it's a time for a commercial break. We'll be back with the NWA and with Fan Forum on Pro Wrestling Plus. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Plus, and right now we'll just have a look at what's happening in the NWA. You're probably well aware that Starrcade took place during the U.S. Thanksgiving weekend, and we hope to be able to give you exclusive footage of that monumental event, probably starting next week on this show. This week, however, we're going to be seeing Jimmy Valiant and Bugsy McGraw taking on Thunderfoot #1 and George South. Dynamic action there. And from there, we head to Calgary, Alberta, a 6-man tag team bout. It involves the combination of Bruce Hart, Brian Pillman, and Hirohase. They take on Mucka Singh, Jerry Morrow, and the Great Gama.
Frustration of this sensational Calgary wrestler. Bruce Hart against Gama, fires him off the ropes. Morrow pulled down the ropes. And now Morrow working over Hart. Big neck breaker out there on the concrete. Pillman has been thrown from the ring. Karachi Vice looks to be in complete control. Hirohase has left the scene. Now it's Bruce Hart down in the canvas and going upstairs. Look at this, Hase pulls Gama down. Gama got caught up in the ropes. There's a small package. 1, 2, 3. Bruce Hart pins the Great Gama. What a comeback for Hirohase. We thought he was too badly injured, but he's taped up those ribs. He helped turn it around. The pin was made by Bruce Hart. Your winners in this sensational 6-man tag team match. Bruce Hart, Brian Pillman, and Hirohase.
Yes, it's time now to move on to Fan Forum, where you take part in this particular program. And as we said in the last show, I hope you're not disappointed if your letters don't get on. We've got so many of them, and we can't possibly get to all of them. Now, our first letter is from John Pollard of Victoria. My name is John Pollard. I watch your show every week here in Victoria, BC. I must take my hat off to you. I think Pro Wrestling Plus is a magnificent show. I'm a truly devoted wrestling fan. I watch almost every wrestling organization there is. Although I'm only 14 years old, I plan on moving to Calgary one day and joining the sport of wrestling. Well, look after yourself, Long John, and keep healthy and such. At 14, you never know. You might make it. We appreciated your letter from Victoria. Our next letter is from Brantford, Ontario. I wanted to know if you could make a match between the Midnight Rockers and the Hunters. I watch your show every week. I really enjoy it. I wonder if you can send me a T-shirt. Your friend Dax, that's how he mentions it, D-A-X, from Brantford, Ontario. Okay, Dax, if yours was chosen as the best letter of the week, we could do that, but we'll see what happens with the rest of our letters here. Dear Fan Forum, and this is from Komoka, Ontario. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, capital K-O-M-O-K-A, Komoka, Ontario. Dear Fan Forum, my name is Stephen Milemans, and I am 9 years old. My friend Kevin and I like to wrestle my dad for championship belts. Isn't that beautiful? They wrestle their dad. I like to watch Pro Wrestling Plus every week. We'd love to see some matches with Junkyard Dog and Hercules. And why does the referee out in the West on TSN Wrestling have a whistle? Signed, yours truly, Stephen Milemans. Well, you're talking about Jürgen Hermann out in the West. Jürgen follows a European method of using a whistle when you're issuing a warning to some wrestlers to break it up or to stop the dirty stuff. But my 9-year-old friend, I want to wish you all the best in your next match with your dad, and I hope you get that championship belt, okay? Dear Ed, I really enjoy your show, Pro Wrestling, and this is from an area called Carling Crescent in Gander, Newfoundland. I really like TSN Wrestling. It has great action. My favorite wrestler is Hulk Hogan. I also like Owen Hart. He has great wrestling ability. I can predict Owen will get back the mid-heavyweight title from Gama Singh. Owen really deserves it. And it's signed Jeffrey Parsons from Gander, Newfoundland. Thank you for your letter, Jeffrey. A long letter, very intelligent letter, I might add, by the way. However, some of the comments in here that are not exactly flattering to one of the wrestling federations might be difficult to transmit on television for fear of action against us, okay? So I will just take a few excerpts from this letter by Chris Heydrich of Mississauga, Ontario. I'd like you to know how much I enjoy Pro Wrestling Plus and out west your Stampede Wrestling show, especially your commentary. I've been watching wrestling for 17 of my 22 years, and I must say that Pro Wrestling Plus is one of my favorite programs in that time. And it's a very intelligent letter. I apologize, Chris, for not being able to read all of it. I hope you understand. And it's from Chris Heydrich of Mississauga, Ontario. Now, we have gone through what few letters we've been able to read this time around, and I kind of liked the one from Stephen Milemans of Komoka, Ontario, who keeps wrestling his dad for the championship, okay? I'll tell you what we're going to do for you, Stephen. We're going to give you a pro wrestling T-shirt, and I think maybe that'll spur you on to victory against your dad the next time you have a championship match. Okay, we'll be sending that out to you. It's going to take a little time to get it through the mails and so on, but free of charge, we're going to send that to young Stephen, and I want to wish you luck. I got a kick out of that. Okay, we're going to tell you how you can get a hold of us and how you might purchase a Pro Wrestling Plus T-shirt, and we'll be right back. Get your paper, your pencils ready, because we're going to give you the address for Fan Forums. Okay, how do you get a Pro Wrestling Plus T-shirt if you don't get it free of charge because your letter has been picked as Letter of the Week? Well, I'll tell you this. All you have to do is drop a money order or a check into the mail, $12.95 for the T-shirt, plus $3 for the cost of mailing and handling. Make the check or money order out to Fan Forum and send it, along with your letters weekly, to this address. Fan Forum, Box 807, Station J, Calgary, T2A, 1P0. Got that? Fan Forum, Box 807, Station J, Calgary, T2A, 1P0. I cannot believe we run right smack out of time, but we absolutely have. we'll look very much forward to seeing you next time, when once again it is time for another edition of Pro Wrestling Plus. And goodbye now.